Well, alright! Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Berlino here in the world famous As It Should Be studios. And, well, it's Pride Month. Yeah, isn't it? Pride Month. It's Pride Month, and, happy Pride to everybody. Yeah, everybody, even you. And you know what better time than now to do a Judas Priest related video? You know, I've been wanting to do a video of some artist of some sort where I do the ranking of the opening tracks of all their albums. And you know, I didn't come up with the idea, actually. I don't think. Well, somebody did suggest to me a long time ago, back when I did my Stones ranking. Somebody commented and said, hey, why don't you do a ranking of the Stones album openers? And I thought that was a great idea, and I never got around to doing that video. I still may do it at some point, but I decided, you know, now I'm going to do it for Priest. I'm going to do ranking the Priest opening tracks for all their albums, from Rock-A-Rolla to Invincible Shield. And, well, all the Halford albums, okay? In other words, all the Priest albums. Okay, all you people, all you Ripper fans, what about the Ripper albums? Okay, those two songs, bottom of the list, tie, okay? Wait, no, it doesn't count. Yeah, it counts, because even if I put them on the list, they'd be at the bottom of the list. So there you go. All right? If you don't like it, make your own Priest video, okay? This is my video. All right. Well, anyway, so why don't I get right on this? Hopefully, this is recording properly. I'm trying to star in a video while engineering one at the same time. It isn't always a smooth thing. All right. Let's get right down to it. All right. So coming in number 17, I have Turbo Lover. Yeah, I have Turbo Lover all the way at the bottom. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's so typical to hate Turbo Lover. Just why is everybody so offended by the sense? I think that's a terrible song. I think that song fucking sucks ass. That it's like it's bad 80s synth pop with some outdated early 80s new wave vibes. You know what I mean? It's kind of, the melody has that stiff sort of robotic early 80s thing that was really pretty old hat by 86. I think 86 was when this came out, right? Yeah, and it was just Priest trying desperately to go. Basically, I consider the Turbo album to be sort of the Kiss Unmasked of Judas Priest. And, you know, they tried to expand and to, like, bring in some of the pop audience, you know, into their brand. And it didn't quite work, did it? I mean, yeah, kind of. They had a little bit of a bump there. But ultimately, it was a backlash. And they had to kind of, like, come back with their tail between their legs, trying to be extreme after that. But yeah, Turbo Lover, I've always hated that song. And you know, I really hated it at the time, but you think, okay, you go back to it later on, maybe it's aged better, maybe I won't be so bothered by it now. I went back and listened to it. You know, it's really, I dislike that track every bit as much as I ever have. And yeah, so it's my number 17 all the way at the bottom, Turbo Lover. All right, so coming in number 16, Ram It Down. Yeah, Ram It Down, the follow-up. Ram It Down is the follow-up album to Turbo, and you can kind of hear, like, right in this opening track, where they're trying to kind of almost apologize for Turbo by coming in, yeah, right away, right? But they kind of still have that really shit mid-80s production. It has that aluminum trash can lid production sound that just completely destroys the whole thing. This actually, Ram It Down, wouldn't be that bad of a song if it didn't sound like garbage. I mean, it's not a great track. Again, it's Priest kind of really trying to double back and go, oh, no, we didn't mean the Turbo stuff. We're extreme again, you know. But it just wasn't working because as much as they were kind of trying to do it, the songs were crap and the production was crap. And yeah, so Ram It Down, I have at number 16. All right, coming in at number 15, Panic Attack. Panic Attack! Panic Attack! Yeah, the opening track of the latest album, Invincible Shield. You know, I have this track ranked really low on this list, but you know what, man? I think this new album is great. This opening track isn't one of my favorites on the record. It's not a bad track, not one of my favorites, but overall, I think this is a really great new Priest album. But this, you know, it's just... you know, I'm so bored with the pseudo-epic, slow, fade-in album openings, like... You know, it's just like, okay, we've done this. You've done this 1,000 times. A 1,000 bands have done this 1,000 times, and it just kind of sounds like this overly processed video game metal. and it's just it's like the musical equivalent of a Bruce Willis movie, really. It's just like I see all these fake explosions everywhere when I hear this track. I mean, all that said, it's not a bad track, but there's just, I feel like their stuff is getting more and more and more and more processed sounding. And this track is one of the greatest offenders in that area. Yeah, but I will say, Halford sounds fucking amazing on this. I mean, so amazing that I wonder, is there some AI involved? Because, man, he sounds smoking on this. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. Panic Attack. All right, coming in number 14, Dragonaut. Yes, the opening track from Redeemer of Souls. And was that 2014, I think? I don't know. I didn't put the years down on this, but I think that's when it was. But, this is a decent track, but again, it's basically video game metal. And, it's not quite so processed as Panic Attack. It's a little bit... I remember at the time, it sounded completely canned and processed, but compared to Panic Attack, I went back to it and it sounds almost downright organic, relatively speaking. But yeah, we're getting into we're in a little patch here where a lot of the opening tracks are kind of in the same realm for me. Because they kind of do, they've fallen into this spot where they're kind of doing the same kind of vibe. But whatever. I mean, Dragonaut is not a bad track. I have it at number 14. Whatever. Dragonaut. Alright, it's coming in number 13. I have Dawn of Creation / Prophecy, which is the opening track of Nostradamus. Yeah, now this is probably the worst of the slow fade-in offenders out of all their tracks. In fact, this one is so extreme in that department that the fade-in counts as its own track. You'll notice I said Dawn of Creation / Prophecy. I mean, technically, Dawn of Creation is the opening track, but all it is a fade-in. So I had to kind of do a slash with Prophecy because Prophecy is the first song on the album. All right? I mean, now, Prophecy is a perfectly decent track. I'm not a fan of the Nostradamus album at all, but I don't think Prophecy is a bad track in the least. But ultimately, I do find it to be nothing all that special. So I have it all the way down to number 13. So yeah, Prophecy. All right, it's coming in number 12. Firepower, from, of course, Firepower. Yeah, what a great recent Priest album. It's the one, it's the one before the latest one. Now this, I love the immediacy here. I mean, it just blasts right in, just with this great sounding riff. The band sounds great, and Rob sounds incredible, and the song's really good. I mean, it's just, boom, here we are with a fucking kick-ass album. Great opening track. Yeah, I honestly, Firepower deserves to be higher, but they just have so many great opening tracks that it got pushed down this far. But yeah, Firepower. All right, it's coming to number 11. One for the Road. Yeah, the opening track of the very first Priest album, Rock-a-Rolla. Man, now I really... When I was younger, when I was first listening to Priest, and I was sort of like a preteen, early 80s, the 70s stuff just didn't compute. I just couldn't get into it, and Rock-a-Rolla, it just wasn't working for me. Man, over time, I've grown to really love this stuff. And One for the Road, such a great track. Another track I would love to have put higher, but I mean, this is another thing altogether from everything I've been talking about, and from most things Priest. I mean, it's by far their most 70s sounding track, opener, or album, really. And it's almost like an early ZZ Top riff, but with like a little bit of like a Hendrix voicing here on a couple of the chords. It's really cool. Halford is Halford right out of the gate, and overall it's a very prototype sounding track and album. But man, I think it's great. One for the Road. All right, it's coming to number 10. Free Will Burning! Yeah, Free Will Burning. Yeah, from Defenders of the Faith. Ooh. Yeah, I have that at number 10. Now, I love this song. Halford is absolutely killing. And, but this is kind of where they start to go in the over-the-top 80s sort of direction with the production. So I really, as much as I like a lot of the songs on this album, I don't like the sound of this album much. But I much prefer the sound of One for the Road, the Rock-a-Rolla track that I just talked about, but I put this above it because I just think this is a much better song. And it's just this is a truly epic opening track, and that rapid fire part that Halford does. I don't even know the words. Whatever. I did a show recently where we were doing Judas Priest, a Judas Priest tribute, and somebody had that song, and they learned every little word of that and nailed it. I can't nail it, but yeah, that rapid fire part just kicks ass. This song kicks ass. Freewheel Burning. Okay, so coming in number 9, The Hellions / Electric Eye. Yes, what a classic album opener this is. Yet I only have it at number 9. You know, Priest just has that many badass tracks, but, you know, and badass, just badass openers. But, I mean, this is an undeniable. The Hellion Electric Eye? Come on. Most people, I think, would rank this as the greatest Priest album opener, and you would not be wrong. I just like the other ones more. But, man, it's just so classic. I've always loved that vacuous effect on Halford's voice on the "You think your private lives, but you think you private lives, think nothing of the kind." There's that vacuous effect where it kind of goes really. It's an effect, but it's also really vacuously dry at the same time. It's just a really cool sound. I've always loved that. But and the lyrics of the song, damn. I mean, we're now basically living this song. Really, I mean, welcome to the Hellion Electric Eye. This is where we are now. Anyway. Alright, Metal Maniacs. Number 8. Coming in at number 8 is Exciter! Yeah, Exciter. Oh, man. From Stained Class. The opening track from that. Now, this Exciter is one of the greatest Judas Priest tracks. The reason I have this only at number 8 is because the studio version just isn't that badass. You know, the first version I knew, like a lot of people, was the Unleashed version, the live version on Unleashed in the East, which absolutely kills. If the studio version sounded like that, I'm telling you right now, Exciter would be easily my number 1. I wouldn't even have to think about it. Boom, number 1. But I am ranking the studio Stained Class opening track version, so that goes down to number 8, because that version just does not cut it like a lot of the other ones, and certainly not like that live version. But man, what an absolutely unbelievably classic Priest song. And, you know, even with it being somewhat of a disappointment, you know, vibe and sound-wise compared to the live version, and even compared to a lot of the other album openers, it's still kick-ass. I mean, I still put it at number 8. I still put it above Hellion Electric Eye for crying out loud. But, yeah, there you go, Exciter. Number 7. Coming in at number 7, I have one that a lot of people are going to think I have ranked way too high, but not for me. This is my list. Man, I love this one. I love this one so much. I toyed with putting it even higher. Judas Rising. Yeah, Judas Rising from Angel of Retribution. Yeah, this is when Halford comes back, his first album back with these guys in 2005, and when I got that record and I put this on, I was like, holy shit. Oh, this is what we've been missing. This is what we have been missing. I think that is such a great track. A lot of people, I think, don't rank that album that high. They don't love it as much as I do. And it can be spotty, but come on, man. Judas Rising? Oh, man. I don't even know what to say about this track other than it fucking kills. Judas Rising. Okay, coming in number 6. Painkiller. Yeah, Painkiller. Oh, what an unreal track that is. Honestly, I think a lot of people would have this one up at number 1, and you would not be wrong. Yeah, this is an unbelievable track. Now, I feel like this is the birth of modern Priest, this track right here. This is where the Priest that we have now, this is the beginning of that. Just like, you know, kind of the extreme Priest, you know, Priest trying to be as just bludgeoning as possible. And this is definitely coming, you know, in the wake of like the Turbo and Ram It Down era and all the bullshit they had gone through when they were on trial over the kids who had, you know, that whole thing. So they kind of came back pissed with this, and it's just, it is just a stone classic. I ignored it at the time because it was the follow-up to Ram It Down and Turbo. I couldn't have been less interested in New Priest, so I didn't hear that. I didn't hear a note of that. This track, nothing, for years. I mean, literally, we're talking maybe 10, 15, maybe 15 years ago, I finally heard this track. Oh my god, there's still stains on the wall back there from when my brains just went, yeah, Yeah, anyway, Painkiller. Coming in number 5, Sinner. Yeah, from Sin After Sin, 1977. Man, now this is their third album, but their first on Columbia. They were on Columbia forever. I mean, are they still on Columbia? They may still be on Columbia, but basically this is where their relationship with Columbia begins. And man, what an album Sin After Sin is, and what an opener Sinner is. Now, I feel like Sinner, even though it's one album earlier than Exciter, I feel like this kind of comes a lot closer to the live vibe than they do than on the next album with Exciter, really. I think this one kind of hits a bit closer, which is why I have it so much higher. I mean, I prefer Exciter as a song, but as far as versions go, I think Sinner really hits the mark. And yeah, what else is there to say about it? It's fucking Sinner, man. And I really love these 70s tracks now, so these are the ones that are getting up really high. Sinner. All right, coming in number 4, Delivering the Goods. Yeah, Delivering the Goods from Hellbent for Leather, or Killing Machine, depending on, where you're from. Now, the proper album title is Killing Machine, because that's the UK title, and that's the title that Priest chose for the album. For some reason here in the US, where they love killing people, they were offended by this and decided it needed to be Hellbent for Leather. I don't know, whatever. So anyway, the opening track, Delivering the Goods, have this at number 4, so I guess it's pointless for me to tell you that this is one of my very favorite Priest album openers. But I feel, okay, so the 1979-80 is kind of my Priest sweet spot. This is where it's still a bit 70s, but you're just about to you're kind of hitting that new wave of British heavy metal sound. It's distinctly metal, but it's more of an earthy production. It sounds almost dry and direct compared to the stuff they'd be doing in just a couple of years. But man, but what a track. Ooh, Delivering the Goods. Now, coming in number 3, Heading Out to the Highway from Point of Entry. Yeah, now, a lot of people don't think that highly of Point of Entry. I don't know about this track. I love this track. This is I've loved this track basically since it was new. I was 11 when this record came out, and this is one of the earliest Priest tracks I knew. And it's just always like right here for me. That's part of the reason, but it's also, usually when Priest have made these attempts to be more accessible to the pop market, I have found it cringy. Like Turbo Lover and Parental Guidance and Evening Star and United. Ugh. But this is the one instance where I feel like it's just a bullseye, okay? It's just early 80s hard rock enough and catchy and melodic enough to just be dead on. I kind of put this track sort of over in the corner with Burning for You by Blue Oyster Cult. It kind of lives in that little world. That's a perfect little world for me personally. Yeah, Heading Out to the Highway. I love the hell out of this track. All right, coming in number 2, it's a tie. Yeah. I have Rapid Fire / Breaking the Law. Now, let me explain. The reason why I have those two as a tie is because I couldn't decide which one to go with. Because we think, well, what go with? You go with the opening track. Well, if you have the UK version, Rapid Fire is the opening track. If you have the US pressing, then it's Breaking the Law. Now, Breaking the Law is what I grew up with, and in my heart, that's the opening track. But Rapid Fire is the proper opening track, and I couldn't decide how to go with this. And in the end, I decided to go with the tie because I realized that no matter which of the two songs I chose to have as the opening track from the album, it was going to go to number 2. So, all right, boom. A tie at number 2. Now, Breaking the Law is just obviously, it's just a great, it's kind of like Heading Out to the Highway, where it's kind of like catchy. It's almost like a catchy pop single, but it's hard rock and metal and just badass, and I just, it's a classic of all time. But, so now Rapid Fire, the proper original UK opening track of this album, it's just effortlessly pummeling. I feel like all the stuff that they knew now, it's like they're trying so desperately hard to be extreme, right? But this just naturally and effortlessly kicks ass, this track. And it's like they could do it in their sleep. And again, it also has that sort of tight early 80s production before everything became overly produced. And I just think it's just, perfection. Rapid fire. / breaking the law. Well, alright, and coming in number 1, my favorite Priest opener. Victim of Changes, yeah, from Sad Wings of Destiny, from 1976. Man. Yeah, now this is just... such a great Priest album. I did not love this stuff anywhere near like I should have back in the day. But boy, did I come into this just a little later when I was probably in my 30s is when I really came around to this stuff. And but Sad Wings, I want, you know, I'm going to do maybe with Tommy Von Voigt and Crystal Durant, we'll do an album ranking at some point, or I'll do it by myself. At some point that'll be happening. I'll be talking more about this album, but this track, you know, it's like the perfect combo of warm 70s production and having found their metal sound, like their good, proper metal sound. You know, and this is only their second album, so they kind of really just found themselves right away. Now, this track is a combination of 2 early songs. Okay, there's a song called Whiskey Woman, which is an early Priest song from before Halford was in the band, when Al Atkins was in. And Al Atkins and KK wrote this track, Whiskey Woman, right? Well, before Halford was in Priest, he was in a band, what was it called, Hiroshima or whatever, yeah. And he had a song called Red Light Lady. And so when he came into the band, they sort of combined those 2 songs and turned it into Victim of Changes. And man, what a track it is. It's just, like I said, I think really that, I've already said what is the ultimate thing for me to say about this, is that it's the perfect marriage of that warm 70s production and sound that I love so much, yet Priest completely arriving at their just ass-kicking metal sound. And it's, you know, it's just a great song, and I love how it starts out, you know, just like badass and riff, and you know, it's such a, it kind of goes on a journey, really. I mean, obviously it comes in just like with some good 70s, you know, almost Black Sabbath inspired kind of metallic riffing, but you know, it just goes into all these different sections. Like it has like the really sort of breakdown, slow ballady kind of section, and you know, great, just weird lyrics. The lyrics are really weird. Can somebody explain to me what "Good God, pluck me"? What does that mean? What does this mean? My friend Brent, shout out to my best friend Brent, we have laughed about that since we were teenagers. We would just always just throw that line out there and just fall about laughing. Good God, pluck me. What is that? And if anybody can give me any insight on that lyric, please bring it. But yeah, so there you go. I mean, come on. I don't think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to disagree with me on this, that Victim of Changes is the greatest Priest album opener. Alright, so there you go. That is my ranking of the Priest album opening tracks. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you everybody who has subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, maybe consider subscribing. And if you do, click the little bell, because then you get notifications to let you know when I have other videos. You're going to want to come back on Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday, because Crystal Durant and Tommy Von Voigt are going to be here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios, and we are going to be ranking the Prince album covers. Yes, yeah. We're on our, we do our albums of the year bi-weekly now, and this is an off week for that. So this week we are doing the Prince album covers. We're ranking the Prince album covers, and that's going to be fun. You don't want to miss that. All right, everybody. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Trying to do the trackpad on my laptop with the gloves on. No bueno. All right, number 8. All right, Metal Mediacs, number 8. Well, all right. Welcome back to. Oh, okay. Let's try that again. Go this way. Okay. Well, all right.